Sean Myers here of the Westmoreland Sports Network as we continue Westmoreland on the Gridiron. We are now joined by the head coach of the Hempfield area Spartans, Rich Bowen. Coach, first off, congratulations. That's a heck of a way to start the 2019 season. What did you see from your team on Friday?
I thought we played well. Defensively, I was really pleased. What I was most pleased with is we were physical. We tackled well. We got some turnovers. We didn't turn the ball over on offense. We had a balanced attack. I think we ran for like 280 and threw for 160. So it was an all-around good football game for us. And what we like about it is it keeps us on a 3-game win streak going into last year, too. So
the 40-3 victory against Greensburg-Salem, people thought your team was going to be improved this year, but did you have any expectations that it might be that lopsided in your favor?
Oh, never, especially playing Greensburg. I mean, I don't care about the difference in classification. That's a rivalry game. I know Greensburg has played us tough for 3 years, and we're expecting the same type of game. But, it was nice to go out that way, play a good, solid football game against a good football team. Believe me, Greensburg's going to be fine in their league, and I think they're a playoff team in that league. But, we played well. That's all I can say. We played well, and we executed what we wanted to do, so I couldn't be more happier.
During your tenure there, typically the offense and the passing game has been pretty impressive. I know you want to focus more on the run this year, but the question mark typically starts on the defensive side. Well, that question, at least through 1 week, was answered decisively, and it didn't take long. First quarter, Demetrius Murphy with the pick six to get things going. What made the defensive effort so impressive from your team?
Like I said before, the physicality of it, I thought that was good. We had a lot of tackles for loss. We had, I think, 5.5 sacks, maybe 2. And, I just like our physicality. Also, I thought our DBs did a great job of breaking on the ball and taking some routes away. And it was just an all-around good performance. Now, going into this week against Pine Richland, we also know we're really going to be tested because they're a tremendously good football team on both sides of the ball and special teams. So, we can't live in that week. We got to move on to the next week.
Talking to Rich Bowen, the head coach of the Hempfield area Spartans. You talked about the defensive backs coming up with interceptions. A player who also recorded an interception was Mario Perkins, but I think his highlights more so came on the offensive side. A pair of touchdown runs, including a long one early. He seems like he's really taking the next step this year, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. We saw that coming on last year. We noticed the last couple games he started to run better. Broke some long runs, and his sophomore year ended on a high note. And what we like about with him at tailback, we're able to play Nathan Roby in the slot. So I think Mario had 116 yards, averaged about 10 yards a carry. We were able to get Roby some carries. He averaged close to 10 yards a carry. I think he ended up with 82 yards on 8 carries. And then Demetrius Murphy came in and ran for 60 yards on 6 carries. So we were pleased with all 3 of our tailbacks, but Mario is definitely the go-to guy, and we're a much better team when Mario's the tailback and Roby's in the slot, and it gives the defense more to think about because there are 2 weapons there, and especially with Roman Pellis on the edge too, getting some passes, and Randy Nelson, the tight end, had a good game. So, we're developing some weapons, so we're happy with that.
It's always going to be exciting when you open the season at home, especially in a rivalry game. But was there a little bit extra juice in that stadium because of the pregame honoring of Terry Ranieri, who was arguably the biggest Hempfield football fan in the program's history?
Yes, absolutely. That was a nice ceremony. They did the school district did it first class, and it was a tremendous honor for him. I thought they did it the right way, and our kids knew who he was, knew all about him. So that was part of it. They wanted to go out and play well because of that, and it was a big home crowd. I mean, Greensburg brought a lot of people. There was a lot of people there. On our side, it was a packed house, and to honor a fan like Terry, that's a special win.
Talking to head coach Rich Bowen of the Spartans, you mentioned the task this week. You get to remain at home, but facing arguably the best team in the WPIAL, the Pine Richland Rams. Before we even talk about Pine Richland, do you feel like the momentum really is carrying over even into practice this week from that victory last week?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we had a great practice early in the week this week. We were pleased with that. Our kids, what I like about our kids are they're focused. I think I mentioned in the interviews after the game on Friday, there was no noise in the locker room before the game. They had a one set mind. Their sole purpose was to win that football game. And this week they've come into this week against Pine Richland very attentive, very focused. We didn't even really celebrate. I mean, it's a big win to beat Greensburg, but it pretty much after a minute or two, the kids were like, hey, let's get ready for Pine Richland. They know the task at hand this week. They know they're playing a tremendous football team, well coached, skilled players. They have everything. I mean, they're just fantastic. But I think we have a group of kids here who accept the challenge and they're ready to go.
I know you don't get to pick the schedule, obviously, when it comes to the section slate, but do you prefer and embrace the opportunity to play arguably the best team first, or would you rather have maybe some, I guess, easier matchups early and then kind of build up to those marquee games later?
Well, I think there's merit to both ends of it. I mean, you get them early, you might get them, before they're totally, hitting on all cylinders early in the season. You get them later, you can build some momentum. But, it's fine where they're at. Second game of the season, it's a TV game. I guess we're the game of the week on TV, so, that adds to it. I don't think it really matters. Pine Richland, I'm watching the film against Penn Hills in their first scrimmage against Woodland Hills. It looks like they're hitting on all cylinders already, so I don't think it matters if you get them early or late. We're ready. I mean, our kids are focused. They're ready to go. They know the challenge. They know it's daunting, but I don't think this group will back down to anybody.
Your team a year ago, despite struggling in the section, really battled well against some of the top teams, including Central Catholic and Seneca Valley. The Pine Richland game, however, seems like it got away pretty quickly. Have you talked about how things went wrong last year and sort of used that as a teaching point for this game?
Absolutely. That was just a weird week that week. I mean, my goodness, we played on a Saturday afternoon. It was 90-some degrees. They had to cancel the Friday night game because of some concert benefits show they had in the Pine Richland area, so that sort of screwed us up a little bit. But no excuses. We went out there and they just handed it to us early. I mean, that game was over in the first quarter, and there's really nothing we can do. Once it snowballed, it just kept snowballing. And what I liked about that, though, last year, I mean, we got our butts kicked, we accepted it, and we moved on. And we bounced back the next week and played a tough Norland team, really tough and a close game. And our season sort of progressed from there. And we got better as the season went on.
Do you get the feeling that with all these seniors on the team who have starting experience, that it's a little bit more leadership in years past?
Oh, absolutely. We haven't had this good leadership since I first got here, and we had kids like Ty George and Joey DeFlorio and Todd Almer and all those kind of kids. I mean, those kids were great leaders, and we had some success early on, but we really haven't had that since then. So it's been a little bit of a void. I mean, we've had some good leaders come up through in Bussy Ramaley a couple years ago and that kind of stuff. But this year we have 24 seniors. They're all good kids. They're leading by example. We have 4 captains, but the whole senior class has done a great job.
A guy who was a good leader during his time at Hempfield was Ty George. He now has a pretty significant role on your coaching staff, and it looks like so far so good. What has he done with this program?
Well, he knows the program. He was a great quarterback for me and went on and had a great career at Seton Hill, started all 4 years as a wide receiver for them, and he's a good young coach. He's got the respect of the kids. I mean, he's calling the offense. This is the offense I've been running since about 2002 at York, and it's been pretty successful for me over the years, and Ty understands it, and he really did a good job on Friday night against Greensburg, sticking within the game plan and sticking to what we wanted to do. So I have nothing but high praise for him. And Ty's a young man. He's only 24 years old, but he's going to make somebody a great head coach someday.
Rich, talking to you over the last couple of years, I know how much you love the rivalry games, the Westmoreland County battles. There was a lot of those in week 0, and I know you were probably occupied on your game, at least on Friday night. But did you kind of check out some of the box scores of those other rivalry matchups in the area?
Yeah, we were keeping tabs on Latrobe and Derry. That was a good football game. Ended up 20-14. I mean, because you know all those guys. You know Tim Sweeney. You know Jason Maruco. You know John Ruane down at Penn Trafford's playing Norwin in a big rivalry game. I mean, that's what it's all about. And I'm just so disappointed sometimes that we don't get to play too many of those. I can remember growing up in the 60s and the 70s with my dad coaching at McKeesport, and all the rivalry games they played with Penn Hills, Johnstown, Altoona, West Mifflin North. They had a rivalry game every week, and that's what I remember high school football being about. Now just with the 6A, you get so spread out, and basically we get to play Greensburg, Salem, and then Norwin, and that's it. The other 8 games are teams we've never played before, other than maybe once every couple of years. So I just wish we would go back to what high school football's supposed to be. I'm a big advocate for that. that, and any chance I get to say it, I'm going to say it. I think we should go back to the way it used to be.
And lastly, I guess congratulations are in order. You are a grandfather. Your reaction to learning that recently?
Yeah, that was fantastic. We were on pins and needles. She went a little bit past her due date, my daughter Brittany, and we were hoping it wouldn't come on Friday night, but there was a possibility. And then just this past Monday, at 5:30 in the afternoon, we got the word that she brought in our first grandson, Kieran James Ray. So it sounds like a quarterback to me. It sounds like a quarterback name. So I'm happy with that. Mom and baby are doing fine, and I got to see him a little bit in the hospital the other night, and I'm going back over tonight to see him, and just thrilled. I mean, it's nothing better. Your own kids are special, but you have that void for a while, then you get another baby in the family. It's just a very exciting time for us.
Well, we appreciate the time as always, Coach. Congratulations on the big victory last week. Good luck going forward the rest of the season.
Thanks, Sean. I appreciate it.
That's head coach Rich Bowen as we continue here on Westmoreland Sports Network's Westmoreland on the Gridiron. There's more to come.